Hello, Shalom. Welcome back to day 71 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading Exodus 32, 2 Samuel chapter 1, Psalm 75, Proverbs 9, and from the book of Luke 16. We'll be in the 2009 version of the scriptures. Exodus 32 on page 92. And when the people saw that Moshe was so long in coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, Arise, make us mighty ones who go before us. For this Moshe, the man who brought us up out of the land of Mizraim, we do not know what has become of him. And Aaron said to them, Take off the golden earrings which are in your ears, your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me. And all the people took off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them to Aaron. And he took this from their hand, and he formed it with an engraving tool, and made it into a molten calf. And they said, This is your mighty one, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Mizraim. And Aaron saw and built a slaughter place before it. And Aaron called out and said, Tomorrow is the festival to Yahweh. And they rose early on the next day, and offered a sending offering and brought peace offering. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Go, get down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Mizraim have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made themselves a molded calf, and have bowed themselves to it, and have slaughtered to it, and said, This is your mighty one, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim. Yahweh said to Moshe, I have seen this people, and see, it is a stiff-necked people. Now let me alone, that my wrath might burn against them, and I consume them, and I make you a great nation. Make of you a great nation. But Moshe pleaded with Yahweh, his Elohim, and said, Yahweh, why does your wrath burn against your people, whom you have brought out of the land of Mizraim, with great power and with a strong hand? Why should the Mister speak and say, For evil he brought them out to kill them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from the heat of your wrath, and relent from this evil to your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, Jacob, your servants, to whom you swore by yourself, and said to them, I increase your seed like the stars of the heavens, and all the land that I have spoken I give to your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And Yahweh relented from the evil which he said he would do to his people. And Moshe turned and went down from the mountain, and in his hand were 2 tablets of the witness, tablets written on both their sides, written on one and on the other. And the tablets were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of Elohim engraved on the tablets. And Joshua heard the noise of the people, as they shouted, and he said to Moshe, A noise of battle in the camp? But he said, It is not the sound of those who shout of might, nor is it the sound of those who would cry in weakness, but the sound of singing that I hear. And it came to be, as soon as he came near the camp, and he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moshe's displeasure burned, and he threw the tablets out of his hands and broke them at the foot of the mountain. And he took the calf which they had made, and burned it in fire with the fire, and ground it into powder, and scattered it on the face of the water, and made the children of Israel drink it. And Moshe said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you, that you have brought so great a sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Do not let the displeasure of my master burn. You know the people, that it is an evil." And they said to me, "Make us a mighty one who go before us. For this Moshe is the man who brought us out of the land of Mizraim. We do not know what has become of him." And I say to them, "Whoever has gold, let them take off." And they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and this calf came out. And Moshe saw that the people were let loose, for Aaron had let them loose, to their shame among the enemies. And Moshe stood at the entrance of the camp and said, "Who is for Yahweh? Come to me." And the sons of Levi gathered themselves to him. And he said to them, "Thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, each one put his sword on his side, pass over to and fro from gate to gate in the camp, and each one kill his brother, and each one his friend, and each one his relative." And the sons of Levi did according to the word of Moshe. And about 3,000 men of the people fell that day. And Moshe said, "You are ordained for Yahweh today, since each one has been against his son and his brother, so as to bring upon you a blessing today." And it came to be on the next day that Moshe said to the people, You have sinned a great sin, and now I go up to Yahweh, if I might atone for your sin. And Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, "Oh, these people have sinned a great sin, and have made for themselves a mighty one of gold. And now, if you would forgive their sin, but if not, please blot me out of your book, which you have witnessed." And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Whoever has sinned against me, I blot him out of my book. And now go, lead the people to the place in which I have spoken to you. See, my messenger," M and both are capitalized, which signifies Yeshua, Jesus, "goes before you. And in the day of my visitation I shall visit their sin upon them." And Yahweh plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made. The end of Genesis 32. Moving on to Samuel 2 on page 316. And it came to be after the death of Shaul, when David had returned from striking the Amalekites, that David remained 2 days to Sigil. And it came to be on the third day that, see, a man came out of the camp from Shaul, with his garments torn and dust on his head. And it came to be, when he came to David, that he fell to the ground and did obedience. And David said to him, "From where do you come from?" And he said, "I have escaped from the camp of Israel." And David said to him, "What was the matter? Please inform me." And he said, "The people have fled from the battle, and also many of the people have fallen and are dead. And Shaul and Jonathan, his son, are dead too." And David said to the young man who informed him, "How did you know that Shaul and Jonathan, his son, are dead?" And the young man who informed him said, "By chance I was on Mount Gilboa and saw Shaul leaning on his spear. and see, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and called to me and answered, Here I am. And he said to me, Who are you? So I answered him, I am an Amalek. And he said to me, Please stand over me and put me to death, for agony has seized me, but my life is still in me. So I stood beside him and put him to death, for I knew he would not live after he had fallen. And I took the diadem that was on his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and had brought them here to my master. And David took hold of his garments, and tore them, and also the men who were with him. And they mourned and wept, and fasted until evening, for Shaul and for the Jonathan his son, and for the people of Yahweh, and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. Then David asked the young man who informed him, Where are you from? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger, an Amalek. And David said to him, How was it you were not afraid to stretch out your hand to destroy the anointed of Yahweh? And David called one of the young men and asked him, and said, Draw near and fall on him. And he struck him so that he died. And David said to him, Your blood is on your own head, for your own mouth has witnessed against you, saying, I myself have put to death the anointed of Yahweh. Then David lamented with this lamentation over Shaul and over Jonathan his son, and he ordered the bow to be taught to the children of Judah. See, it was written in the book of Yasher. The splendor of Israel is slain on your high places. How the mighty have fallen. Declare it not in Gath. Proclaim it not in the streets of Ashkelon. Lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice. Lest the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. Mountains of Gilboa, no dew or rain be upon you, nor fields of offering. For there the shield of the might lay rejected. The shield of Shaul not anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan did not turn back. And the sword of Shaul did not return empty. Shaul and Jonathan were beloved and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not parted. They were swifter than eagles, they were stronger than lions. Daughters of Israel, weep over Shaul, who wrapped you in scarlet with finery, who decked your robes with ornaments of gold. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of the battle. Jonathan was slain in your high places. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. You have been very pleasant to me. Your love to me was wondrous, surpassing the love of women. How the mighty have fallen, and the weapons of battle perish. End of 1 Samuel. On to Psalm 75, page 688. We shall give thanks to you, O Elohim. We shall give thanks, and your name is near. Your wonders shall be declared. When I seize the appointed time, is it I who judged in uprightness? The earth and all the inhabitants are melted. Is it I who set its columns firm, Salah? I said to the boasters, do not boast. And to the wrong, do not lift up the horn. Do not lift up your horn on high. For you speak with a stiff neck. For exaltations are neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the wilderness. But Elohim is the judge. He puts down one and exalts another. For a cup is in the hand of Yahweh, and the wine shall foam. It is filled with a mixture, and he pours it out. And all the wrong of the earth draining it to its dregs. But I declare forever, I sing praises of the Elohim of Jacob. And all the horns of the wrong I cut off. The horns of the righteous are lifted up. Proverbs 9, page 737. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out its 7 columns. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also prepared her table. She has sent out her young women. She cries out from the highest places of the city. Who is simple? Let him turn and hear. As for him who lacks heart, she says to him, Come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Leave the simple ones and live, and walk in the way of understanding. He who reproves a scoffer gets shame for himself, and he who rebukes a wrong one gets himself a blemish. Do not reprove a scoffer, lest he hate you. Reprove a wise one, and he loves you. Give instruction to the wise, and he is wiser still. Teach a righteous one, and he increases in learning. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set apart one understanding. For by me your days become many, and years of life are added to you. If you have become wise, you have become wise for yourself. If you have scoffed, you bear it alone. A foolish woman is loud, simple, and without knowledge, for she has seated herself at the door of her house, on the seat of the high places of the city, to call to those who pass by, who go straight on their way. Who is simple? Let him turn and hear. And as for him who lacks heart, she says to him, Stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant, but he does not know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of Sheol. Moving over to Lucas 16, page 10, 1006. And he, Yeshua, also said to his taught ones, There was a certain rich man who had a manager, and he was accused to him of wasting his possessions. So having him called him, said to him, What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your management, for you are no longer able to be manager. And the manager said within himself, What shall I do? For my master is taking the managership away from me. Am I unable to dig? I am ashamed to beg. I know that I shall do that when I am removed from the managership, they might receive me into their houses. And calling every one of his master's debtors to him, he said to the first, How much do you owe my master? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said to him, Take your bill and sit down quietly and write 50. Then to another he said, How much do you owe? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said to him, Take your bill and write 80. And the master praised the unrighteous manager because he had acted truly, because the sons of his age are more shrewd in their generation than the sons of light. And I say to you, make friends for yourselves by unrighteous mammon, that you and you and I say to you, make friends for yourselves by unrighteous mammon, that when you fail, you shall receive that they shall receive you into everlasting dwellings. He who is trustworthy in what is least is trustworthy also in much. He who is unrighteous in what is least is unrighteous also in much. If therefore you have not been trustworthy in the unrighteous mammon, who shall entrust to you the true? And if you have not been trustworthy in what is another man's, who shall give you what is your own? No servant is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cling to one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon. And the Pharisees who loved silver also heard this, and were sneering at him. So he said to them, you are those who declare themselves righteous before men, but Elohim knows your hearts. Because what is highly thought of men among men is an abomination in the sight of Elohim. The Torah and the prophets are until Johann. Since then, the reign of Elohim is being announced, and everyone is doing violence upon it. And it is easier for the heaven and the earth to pass away than for one tittle of the Torah to fall. Everyone putting away his wife and marrying another commits adultery, and everyone marrying her who is put away from her husband commits adultery. But there was a certain rich man who used to dress in purple and fine linen, and lived luxurious every day. And there was a certain beggar named Eleazar, being covered with sores, who was placed at his gate, and longing to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Indeed, even the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to be that the beggar died, and he was carried by the messengers to the bosom of Abraham. And the rich man also died and was buried. And while suffering tortures in Sheol, having lifted up his eyes, he saw Abraham far away, and Eleazar in his bosom. And crying out, he said, Father Abraham, have compassion on me, and send Eleazar to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am suffering in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that in your life you received your good, and likewise Eleazar their evil. But now he is comforted, and you are suffering. And besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been set, so that those who wish to pass from here to you are unable to do so, or unable, nor do those who start over 26. And besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been set, so that those who wish to pass from here to you are unable, nor do those from there pass to us. And he said, Then I beg you, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, lest they also come to this place of torture. And Abraham said to him, They have Moshe and the prophets. Let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they shall repent. But he said to him, If they do not hear Moshe and the prophets, neither would they be persuaded, even if one should raise from the dead. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.